when you're going through it, when you're becoming successful, it's like, it's a dream, it's a complete dream, you've always dreamt of it, but you just don't know where to say stop. That's the problem. And you keep saying, oh yeah, we can do this tour. And I remember being presented with an itinerary of a tour for the next 2 years on that particular third album. And at that point, we really hadn't taken a career break. You know, we were just going from an album, making an album in a studio, say for 2 months, and then we go out for 2 years and tour, back in 2 or 3 months in the studio, back out for 2 years worldwide, back into the studio, and we recorded our third album, and we went back out to tour it. And I think probably maybe about 6 months into that tour, it was obvious that, you know, we were kind of going, why are we doing this? Because none of us were happy. We all missed our own lives. We didn't have personal lives anymore. We were just like, you know, so it's funny, it just kind of happens, you know, and you're just kind of in the middle of it.
And then you start snapping at each other.
Not really, no.
No, you didn't? What about you, Mike? Did you find it all overpowering?
Yeah, it was a bit right, like, because I was the youngest in the band as well, like, so it was a bit strange, right, like, it happened a bit quick.
Yeah.
You know, but it was time to take a break then, like, because we were doing like 5 or 6 years constantly on the road, so.
Yeah.
I think what happens as well is that, you know, in the evening, you know, you can't go out. You know, when you go back to your hotel room, it's like you can't go out without security guards because there's like thousands or hundreds at least in the lobby of the hotel every day. And it's like, you know, you can't go downstairs, you can't go shopping. So it really is kind of from one extreme,
sure,
thousands of people, to this room where you can't go
living
out.
in a jail.
And it's going to take an effect on you eventually. So, you know, what we did was we just didn't really talk to each other very much. We got really kind of, we'd get quiet and, you know, stuff like that, you know. So.
Were you close to splitting up then?
Yeah. After we finished the last tour, it was just nobody was having fun anymore, so what was the point of doing it if you're not enjoying yourself, you know?
Yeah.
So we just said we'd take a break and see how we got on after 6 months.
Right, you cancelled the tour. And so what brought you back together again? Noel, will you talk to me about that?
I guess some time had gone by. I guess we didn't see each other for 6 or 7 months, and we slowly started to meet up again and ring each other. And at that time, Dolores and myself, I think, we were talking to each other and we were sending each other tapes and stuff, and we were talking about getting back together again. But it was just really to do some demos. It wasn't really to. We had no idea like that we were going to do an album again.
Yeah.
It was the last thing in our mind. It was just we had a few songs and we thought, let's just record these and see how things go. And it was kind of during that time then of we kind of did some demos, and then they turned out so well that we just kind of kept it. It slowly moved on from there. And then I guess about 6 months later we ended up with an album that was finished and ready.
Isn't this worldwide fame a most extraordinary thing? And nobody thinks of the downside. You realise a dream and the dream suddenly turns into whatever.
Yeah.
And you have to gather yourself together again and touch base. And
it's true, I mean, because ultimately I think, you know, we set out to make music and we all love music, but nothing can prepare you for the fame aspect of life.
Yeah.
You know, that no matter where you go, people are going to recognise you, and some people will be nice and some people won't be nice,
sure,
but ultimately you don't feel normal, you know.
Yeah.
And I think you miss your family an awful lot. That would be
well,
a big
now
issue.
riddle me this. You're starting out on the treadmill again now, this new album. You're off again and you're going to be doing all the talk shows in America and all the radio stations and all of that. How are you going to protect yourself from that situation again?
Mm.
We're going to schedule it, like, pace ourselves, right?
Do like maybe 3 weeks on, take a couple of weeks off, 4 weeks on, take a few weeks off. Just basically have a balance.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you go home, you know, you spend
touch
time
base
with
with
your
home.
family and stuff,
Yeah. Well, now, Mike and Noel, Fergal and Noel got married, not to each other, obviously, but does that means you're all grounded now? Does that change things a great deal?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's very important to have something grounding because it's such a strange and fast world when you're on tour. It's just all go, go, go every day. So you need some stability when you get back home.
Dolores, they tell me in these newspaper articles that you're the 5th richest woman in these islands.
I think they know more about my money than my bank manager, actually. No, it's hilarious, actually. People seem to be really kind of fixed on it. But to be totally honest about it, I didn't have my own house really properly until I moved into my official home 7 months ago. And before that, I was just kind of breezing around. I built a house actually in Kerry, but that didn't work out, because it was just the wrong place to live. It was like all the tourists used to come up with cameras and the bus used to stop outside my door and stuff. So I found a place whereupon I feel like a normal person, and you know, it's like everybody treats me like a normal person, and you know, you don't get the the cranberry treatment thing, you know. So I've kind of moved in there, and it's only like in the last 6 or 7 months that I've been able to kind of buy a horse, buy a car, you know. So starting to enjoy it a bit, what we have worked for over the years, you know.
And the baby.
And the baby, of course, the most important
How is the
thing.
baby?
He's great.
And
He's
what
great.
arrangements are you going to make now on tour about the baby?
Well,
Does he travel?
I'm very fortunate. My mother is looking after him. So.
I met your mother.
And she's looking after me too this time, so that's nice.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, it's really nice to have your mum around, because when I came off the last tour and I was really down, I was really low, I was really thin, I was really, you know, unhappy. And my mum was like, "But you're still my baby," and I said, "That's cool." You know, she just kind of grounds you, you know.
Isn't it amazing how you find a use for the mammy in the end?
Ah, they're
isn't it?
great.
Isn't it wonderful?
In
You come,
fairness, like,
you come to realise the value of the
yeah,
mammy.
they're always there, and they always know how to kind of just fix you, you know.
Yes.
They're
yes.
the greatest. So she's looking after the baby on tour, and we're just going to do like a gig on, a gig off, a gig on, a gig off, and
Yes.
that way, you know, you get to have a life, you get to have love
Sure.
and happiness, and that's what
And
makes you
management are
happy.
pushing you all the time to do more, do more, do more. And you have to, yeah. You never thought of moving to LA or anything like that, no?
No way.
No way. No way. You've been there, yeah.
You get lost.